How's it going, everyone? It's your favorite apostates. I'm McKay.
I'm Jordan.
And welcome to the month of June.
Happy Pride Month. If you're watching this in June of 2024.
Happy Pride June 2024. We love you. Jordan loves you. We love you all. You're valid. You're welcome here. We do everything that we can to make this a welcoming channel to all those who identify as part of the LGBTQIA plus community, the queer community, and so forth. So one of the things that we wanted to talk about, and stuff that has begun invading my own personal social media feeds because I am terminally chronically online, are conspiracy theories.
Yay!
Yeah, and it's gotten to the point where it's almost like a fixation of mine to delve into the rather inconsistent talking points that a lot of these people have, and it does seem to present a common thread of fundamentalist thought process of all kinds, not necessarily Christian always, but that is one of the ones I see most often.
This is not necessarily out of our wheelhouse because there are a lot of Mormons, not all Mormons, but there are a lot of, I'll say, like more right-leaning Mormons who are deep in the conspiracy theory hole. And so that's not all of them. It's not like a given if you're a Mormon, you're going to believe in a conspiracy theory. But I feel like because of some of the tactics and the manipulation and the brainwashing, for lack of a better term, that happens, it makes you kind of more susceptible to these other kinds of things, especially if they are pushed by other members, which happens a lot. I mean, it's kind of the same track that we see with MLMs. Like, there's this inherent trust that happens amongst Mormons, and it's like, well, I trust that person, and if they believe this, or if they think that this is okay, then I can think that this is okay too. And so it can kind of be a slippery slope, and it falls in line with everything that we've been talking about recently with, like, trad wives and, you know, the whole anti-feminism kind of rhetoric that is parading its way around the internet right now. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is one person specifically who keeps popping up in, not like on my For You page, but like people reacting to her videos on TikTok because they're just so unhinged, just popping up.
On my Instagram feed, I have gotten her
so
organically. I don't know where
I
don't know where Instagram is.
I found her through the whole raw milk fetishization that's happening. And so that's how I found her. And then the more that I looked into her stuff, the more I was like, oh, okay. So what?
I remember the first time I'd seen her, I honestly thought it was satire.
So did I initially.
And then I went to the page and I was like, oh,
she's not kidding.
Oh, she's for real about this.
She's not kidding. So we're kind of doing an old school video, and that this is not a deep dive on this person. I don't have the time nor the energy for that, for this person, first of all.
The wherewithal is not there.
But the gist kind of with this person is that they do make more of an effort to keep, like, their information offline. Like, there was only 1 or 2 articles I could find about them, like, on the internet. I didn't look very hard. But she says that her name is Gubba. I don't think that's actually her name. I think she's using a pseudonym. I don't blame her. The internet is scary. So, like, not going to judge her for that. But she also pushes a little bit of the trad wife nonsense, like, influence, like, throughout all of this. But the one thing that I will give her props for is, as far as I can tell, she does have children, but she does not post them on the internet. So I can give credit where credit is due. That might seem like the bare minimum, but on this channel, that's like a gold fucking star for you.
Seriously.
So,
especially when you get the people who are like, oh my God, the internet is so dangerous, it's so scary, but then they're just posting up on
like, you
kids,
believe
like,
conspiracy theories, like the most bizarre ones, but then you're like blasting your kid's face all over the godforsaken planet. So, you know, it's fine. It's one but not the other. So anyway, this is not a deep dive on this person. We're going to be doing like an old school video like we did when we first started, which is along the lines of just like kind of blind reacting to these videos. I've seen all of these. McKay has seen none of them.
I've seen some of them.
Some of them, maybe. I have shoved them all to the back of my brain because I don't want to internalize any of this information. And so we're just going to be blind reacting today. And I hope you will join us for a ride to the conspiracy side.
Without further ado, Gubba Homestead.
Quick disclaimer, do not interact with these people. This is not, I just saw Chelsea say this the other day, our fellow YouTuber, say this is not a petting zoo. This is to take funny snark. This is do not touch the poo. Like, we are just reacting. And if she has feelings about it, that's fine. I expect her to, but I don't care. So don't interact. Don't, like, bombard their social media with shit. Like, just leave it be. We're here for entertainment purposes. Going and commenting that, you know, they're wild and, like, just think about it with every other person we've covered. It, like, fuels their persecution complex. So let our entertainment be what it is and don't feel the need to engage with them unless you have, like, a strong desire, and I'm not going to tell you what to do. Okay? Cool.
Are we all on the same page? We ready to go?
I'm not your mom. I don't tell you what to do, but I will encourage you to not do that.
You're not my dad. All right, we're going to start off strong with this first one. A lot of them I'm going to have to just replace the audio with something else. But if there's, you know, dialogue, then that's another thing. Bee sting on face. Okay,
I'm not gonna lie to you. When I watched this for the first time, I probably watched this 10 times.
Yeah,
this is not an insult to her appearance because I think she's cute and fine. Like,
R.I.P. to your eye temporarily.
Okay, this is not intended to be controversial. This is just what my brain is conjuring up right now. She looks like an Animal Crossing villager. Like, I'm sorry. I feel bad for you that you're allergic to bees, but you didn't have to put this on the internet, and I don't think this is the safest way to go about it, but you know what? If you want this to happen to your face, you do you. You do you. Would you like to read the caption for her?
Yeah, let's hear her out. Let's hear her out. She says, I was out in my orchard planting trees when a bee got stuck in my hair hanging from on my forehead. I was patiently waiting for it to get untangled, but the poor thing panicked and stung me. Bees don't want to sting you because when they do, they pass away. Unfortunately, this time being stung, I couldn't see the stinger and had to get inside in front of a mirror to remove it. This extra time allowed more venom to be pumped in, and I'm left looking like I was in a bar brawl. I'm mildly allergic, as you can see. Bee venom has been historically used for potential medicinal therapeutic properties. It has been used to alleviate pain associated with arthritis, neuralgia, multiple sclerosis, and other muscle injuries, which I think is true. And even I heard recently that it helps in the treatment of Lyme disease, or maybe even chronic Lyme disease. I'm not very sure on what it is, but bee venom contains melittin, which has been studied for its anti-inflammatory properties because it can inhibit the production of inflammatory mediators and suppress enzymes in the inflammation pathways. Adolapin and other enzymes found in bee venom are also anti-inflammatory. When
That's great and all.
When people say inflammation in this kind of a setting, I turn my brain up. I don't. Yep. Usually, it's just nonsense.
Everything to them causes inflammation.
I know. It's like,
explain inflammation to me.
Yeah.
In this context. But if you're allergic, like, I don't doubt that bee venom is used for medicinal things that are helpful in other contexts. Like, great, love that. But you're clearly allergic.
Yeah.
So, like, does that apply to you? Because it sounds to me like you're just allergic to it.
Is this like the cope for I'm allergic and I got stung, but don't worry, I should still have them because they can be medicinal or therapeutic.
But not for you.
This doesn't look therapeutic.
No.
Is the problem.
I mean, maybe it's not like death-defying or like toxic for you, but at the same time, I'm like, that clearly, I mean, you're worried about inflammation, girl. That's inflammation.
And like, this doesn't seem, at the surface level, we're just getting into this. This doesn't seem like it's weird or off or anything like that. But the root of this, the root of this is like, trying to give the finger to Big Pharma, which, you know,
I'm mildly allergic.
Big Pharma can jump off a bridge for all I care for different reasons, not for the reason that she is
I got stung by a bee. Take that, Big Pharma.
Yeah. But anecdotally, we had a family friend who kept bees in his backyard because he lived in damn Kaysville, Utah, and you can have pigs and chickens and bees, and there's no city statutes against it, you know, which I don't necessarily believe that it should be. But he had a similar situation like this. His face swelled up like nobody's business, and his doctor was like, you need to get rid of the bees because another sting could be fatal to you.
That's scary.
Like, that's some scary. This should be a warning, not like a quirky, oh, I got stung. Also, I'm a little like, the bee got tangled in your hair. I don't know. It seems kind of weird.
It just seems bizarre to me. So that's our introduction to this
There's
person.
our introduction.
I don't realize it's a scam anymore.
The entire United States of America's food system. Oh, you sent your kid off to general public schools? Congratulations, they're going to be fed garbage. Oh, hey, you woke up? Well, we created this random word called breakfast. Go ahead and eat food and spike your insulin and lower your brain-derived neurotropic factor for the day. That's a good start. Don't worry, trust us. We created the Food and Drug Administration. Then you might want to ask yourself, why is the Food and Drug Administration in the same sentence? Well, because if you eat all the foods in the grocery store with all of the ingredients that disrupt your gut microbiome, then you're going to be able to disrupt your brain. You disrupt your brain, you disrupt your body. You disrupt your body, well, guess what? Your body's not going to function the way that it's supposed to function, so you're going to have to go to the hospitals and work with the drug operating centers. Or, I mean, doctors, sorry. Or your PCP is going to help you. I mean, your primary creator of prescriptions.
Is she drinking dandelion? Oh, son of a bitch.
She is.
Things might seem a little bit crazy until you realize that taking control of your life is one of the most important things that you're ever going to choose to do. You start to self-educate, guess what? You become dangerous to the society that we live in, at least the United States of America.
What's a scam?
First off, does the dude in this audio think that the FDA created breakfast?
She is anti-breakfast, apparently. And so...
What the fuck is wrong with bacon and eggs?
I mean, it does something. I mean,
That's crazy.
I'm not a nutritionist, but I used to work in a hospital. Cue gasp. Okay. As a social worker.
Hospital?
I
or
did.
however the dude said it.
And I worked with dietitians and nutritionists, like registered dietitians and things. And they were always like, I'm terrible with eating breakfast. And so they would always get on my ass about how it's better for you to be eating breakfast. And I don't know all the food scientists. I'm a therapist, not a damn dietitian. And so I don't know all the reasoning behind it, but I know the people who are educated about food and food science and the impact on your body and all of those things are very like heavy on you need to be eating breakfast and it's good for you. But apparently breakfast is like in conspiracy land now. So if you weren't up to date on that.
Dude, I am so asleep. I eat breakfast in the morning. I'm asleep.
Perpetually.
Shit. If there's anything that I've noticed that people like this love, it's some dude talking moderately fast, saying buzzwords in a monotone, like total deadpan buzzwords, 3-letter organizations. It's exactly why Ben Shapiro has the following that he does. People eat that shit up, even if it's
Allie
just
Beth Stuckey does it too.
absolutely fucking bonkers nonsense.
And I mean, I'll be the first to say that there's a healthy distrust of government is not a bad thing. I will be the first to say that. But
this is like going as far to be like, breakfast is a conspiracy. Now that you've
like,
lost me.
We made a random word. Like, and it bothers me because what this does and why this connects to everything else that we talk about is because we have people like Carissa Collins, who is often talked about in fundy circles. She has like 1 million kids and she's extremely distrustful of doctors. And there are other fundies like her who perpetuate this nonsense about like hospitals being unsafe, doctors being drug pushers, like these kinds of things, which makes parents not take themselves or their children to get medical attention when they actually need it. Which is a problem. Like, it's a problem. Like, I'll be the first to say that there isn't necessarily a doctor or hospital fix for every ailment that a child has. But when it prevents people like Carissa from taking her child to the hospital when she is desperately needing to go and needs medical attention, like that's concerning.
Yeah.
And that's what this level of rhetoric creates, is like a distrust of medical professionals, which is dangerous to women, it's dangerous to children, it's dangerous to everyone.
It's crazy too, because I feel like the people who have the most amount of distrust in like the medical and pharmaceutical industries, because that's what they are statistically the people who have the least issues with those in being like underserved and whatever. Because I mean, you look at black and people, indigenous people of color and things like that, statistically have more issues, don't get treated, are more likely to be seen as drug seeking. Maternal mortality rate is fucking ridiculous compared to a lot of these white people who are like, oh, we don't go to hospitals and f- the government, kind of. Because I think a lot of these conspiracy theories have sort of like a grain of truth to them, because we would not be in the opioid epidemic that we would be in if it weren't for doctors who were getting paid to push prescriptions like that.
I'm sure there's doctors
and
who still
pharmaceuticals. I mean, you just look at.
We've also swung to the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah, like you look at the pharmaceutical industry and how in China they're coming out with these studies where they're treating people with diabetes with like this experimental stem cell thing, and they're not needing insulin anymore. And instantly the thought is, what the fuck is Eli Lilly and company going to do? Because that is a huge market share for them, and there's no way that they're going to just let that go.
So there's the grain of truth and the healthy questioning.
Yeah.
And then there's this.
And then there's breakfast was created by the government to increase your insulin in the, like, okay,
and I mean,
come on.
This is by some logic kind of a traditional pattern that the brain follows with thinking in extremes. I mean, we see it with the opioid epidemic, right? Like we had an extreme of like overprescribe, and now we have people who have like chronic illnesses and things who actually need those prescriptions, or people who are on hospice being denied prescriptions because people have hesitations around it. And so it's just the human brain, I think our tendency is to think in extremes. So it's not just like there's a potential healthy distrust of some government institutions. It's all bad. It's all evil.
Yeah.
It's like we've swung so far to the other side that there's not like logical discussions being had anymore. Like we're off into conspiracy land now.
Yeah. Not just like regular, like, oh yeah, the FBI assassinated Fred Hampton conspiracy. Like just not based in reality kind of conspiracy. Anyway. Store-bought items I don't use anymore because I care about my health. Fluoride toothpaste.
Oh, just come right back to fluoride again.
Fluoride's used by the communists to control our mind.
And they're putting chemicals in the water that's turning the friggin' frogs gay.
Based in a grain of truth.
Chapstick. No chapstick. No.
We do chapped lips around here. Air fresheners. There's a grain of truth to this one too. I don't know if Febreze is on there, but I've heard bad things about like your little car air fresheners. Not only for the fact that they can explode and burn your face if they're in the sun, but also that they're not good for your brain. Okay, so we can
read as we go because she has some captions here that I just realized. So
F toothpaste.
She won't even spell fluoride. Okay, that's how deep we've gone. Okay, these people, it's like during COVID how they wouldn't spell the word and like things like that. Like that's where we're at. So fluoride toothpaste, she says a big no.
Toothpaste, but she wasn't.
She says a big no. Fluoride is a waste product. Sure, studies have shown it has minimal benefit for our teeth, but there are other things that benefit your teeth that are not fluoride. Don't walk, run. Run far away from this. This is in your water. Do you really think it's for your health? Invest in high-quality water filter to get it out of your drinking water, too.
Alternatively, could you run me by something that says that it's bad?
Dentists in the chat, sound off. Do you remember in school, like when we were kids, they would bring those little cup things that we had to drink? Do you remember that? Or like we had to swish with it and then spit it out? Do you remember that?
I kind of do.
I did that in Idaho. I don't know if that was like a normal thing. That might have.
And it had fluoride in it?
Uh-huh.
I don't remember that. I remember having like a little unit on brushing your teeth in
Idaho, we
first
also
grade.
used to sing the I'm proud to be an American every day before school started. But, you know, because they're just normal things.
Normal Idaho things.
Okay, so chapstick, read the ingredients. Who owns the company? Did you know that Clorox owns this chapstick?
Burt's Bees.
Interesting. When you walk down the store aisles, you may think you have choices, and in reality, all of the brands are owned by a handful of powerful corporations, which is true. Same garbage, different label. Petroleum-based products are no.
I feel like Clorox is the least of your problems. It's probably BlackRock or...
She's not wrong on that, and I don't doubt that. I mean, there are plenty of beauty products where there are things that are not great for you that are in them, so I don't doubt that. Air fresheners is breathing in harmful chemicals. If you don't, why would you do that if you don't have to? When you stop using these and filling your home and areas up with fragrance, you'll notice a difference. Think about how these affect our pets. It's a good consideration. Don't inhale chemicals like this if you don't have to. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree on that. I don't think it's like conspiracy laden, but okay. Next.
What kind of candy? No fun in this household. Not allowed. Read the ingredients. It may seem like fun treat, but you can make even better tasting candies at home and without all of the junk.
I'm not what's her face on TikTok, okay? I'm not gonna, like, my kids want Cheez-Its. I'm not gonna, like, hand make them.
I'm not making Cheez-Its.
8 hours. Like, I ain't doing that shit. Yeah. And you can call me a bad parent for that, but guess what? I don't care.
You wouldn't be doing it anyway. It would be me.
That's true. Cue the outrage from the fight.
Cleaners, chemical cleaners.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that because, yeah, you're not supposed to fucking ingest it.
Yeah. I have to put you on blast for a second.
What did I do?
The other day there was a commercial on.
Oh,
we
no.
only have we don't have the ad-free Peacock. Anyway, there was a commercial for the Dawn Power Wash thing, and Jordan goes, I heard there's like really bad stuff in it that you're not supposed to have in your food. And I go, well, yeah, that's why you wash it. And she was laughing.
For like 10 minutes.
She was dying.
Because he knows what I mean, but it's funny. Like,
it is funny.
You know, like, obviously, like, if it's killing bacteria, which, like, when I used to be a teacher, okay, so when stomach bug virus would go around me, my ass with the emetophobia was, like, not up in this house. And so I wouldn't even use a cleaner product. I would just use straight bleach that the janitor would bring me that I would mix with, like, I would make it so I'm not, like, killing anybody with toxic chemicals, and then you just dilute it down. But the reason that you have to use bleach and things is because viruses aren't killed by anything other than bleach. Like, my understanding is COVID is only killed by certain products. Norovirus is highly contagious and only killed by bleach. That's the only way that you will kill it. And so it's like, yeah, I would like to be like on a regular day using maybe some vinegar and essential oils, cue the MLM, and some water would be fine. But also then you just have all that shit on your counter. But she says probably the scary germ theory. Germs are a theory now. I know our great grandmas weren't using toxic chemicals to clean their homes. Yeah, well, they were also dying.
Yeah.
Like, children were dying because they also weren't vaccinated. And, like, people act like if we just went back to the olden days, like, everything would be better. And it'd be like, okay, well, then everybody would have chicken pox and die if they're not vaccinated. Seriously. But it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Last one on there, candles.
Candles! Oh, no!
Don't get candles at Target anyway. They kind of suck.
You'll pry my Capri Blue volcano candles from my cold, dead hands.
Same reason I don't use air fresheners. These are loaded with harmful toxins. You breathe in. These can be dangerous for your pets, too.
Well, you know what? You said essential oils were fine, and essential oils are often toxic for pets.
Way more toxic for pets when you're, like, diffusing them like that.
So if it's toxic for pets, in theory, wouldn't it be bad for you, too? Yeah. Or does that just apply when you use that logic? And then I loved the comments on this.
It just depends on what the link in bio is for.
That's true.
It depends on that.
I didn't see any MLMs throughout this, but she's still got time. Are those false eyelashes or your own? Which I was appreciative of that. Like, you're so worried about all these chemicals, but I used to have eyelash extensions, so I speak from experience. That glue is not natural. No. That is not natural. That is chemicals going in your eye, girl.
Maybe it's natural glue made from a horse, a rendered horse.
Maybe it's they're all into tallow right now. Maybe it's like animal fat that they're sticking in. It wouldn't last.
They're real. They're real, Jordan. She's just putting beef tallow on them.
Oh, okay.
Wagyu beef tallow, because... I mean, the brand consistency is fucking given on this. She always has her little get-up, the overalls with the boots, the millennial bun, hair did up real nice. Shout out, honestly. Oh, we're not going to be able to... Every part of this dandelion... All right. I'm not eating fucking dandelions. A lot of these people, it's so crazy, too, because they're like, oh, Bill Gates is going to have us eating crickets. But they're going to eat dandelions?
She talked about that too. Don't worry.
God.
Don't worry.
Great.
We'll get there.
The roots, the leaves, the flowers, all grown with nutrients from the earth and light from the sun.
Love that for you.
Fabulous. You know it's a weed, right?
But it's nasty.
Have you ever gotten some of that? I think it's dandelions or maybe other, like the milk from it. Or is that what you call it? When you break open a dandelion and it kind of like weeps that white fluid.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's called milk technically, but
Dandelion
one time I got that shit on my shirt and it was a white shirt and it stained it permanently like brown. I don't know why. And it's all like sticky and weird. I don't know.
So apparently
you've been fooled into believing dandelions are a nuisance weed and have been tricked into spraying your yard with toxic chemical. Oh, well, I just pull them. But what if, so that's where you're wrong.
I don't spray them. I just pull them and throw them away. Seriously. But heaven forbid.
They are afraid of you knowing the health benefits of dandelions. Okay.
The big government, big pharma isn't telling you about the dandelions.
Dandelion roots contain compounds that help detoxify the liver. Okay, what toxins
Here we
is it
go
removing?
with the toxins again.
The toxins. How long until we get inflammation? Dandelion leaves are full of vitamin A, C, and K, calcium, potassium, and antioxidants.
Love that. Great.
We're listing some real.
But why is Big Pharma
things.
lying to me about dandelions?
Right. Why she doesn't believe in germs, but she believes in micronutrients. Okay. You can't see micronutrients either. Dandelion. Oh, anti-inflammatory. It was the next slide, bro. Dandelion flowers are filled with antioxidants and are anti-inflammatory. Okay.
Great.
What are they? Uninflammating. Awesome. Nature has our medicine. Stop spraying this medicinal plant and poisoning yourself in the process. Was that the start?
That was the whole
dandelion root tea. Seems pretty fucking self-explanatory. Go out and pick some dandelions and put them in your water.
To the average person who's not balls deep in conspiracy theories is going to look at this and be like, oh, dandelion tea, that's interesting. Like, I have dandelions, I wonder if it's good. And then we're down the road to like, Big Pharma doesn't want you to know. And if you're not super up on the understanding of these things, you might be like, huh, okay, that's interesting. And then you're sucked down the path. And this is what happens. It's the same thing that happens with like Mrs. Midwest and what she does with her white supremacy bullshit.
Yeah.
Like it seems innocuous at first, but they don't go to very great lengths to, I mean, she's not hiding it by any means. She's blasting it to the planet. But it's like, it seems innocuous at first. And then it's like, conspiracy theory.
Yeah, weird.
Be scared.
Shit. Let's see. Let's hear her out. Dandelion root tea. 2 tablespoons chopped dandelion root. 2 cups water. 3 tablespoons raw honey. Optional. You have to put a lot of shit in here to make it taste good. If it's a good tea, all you need is just a little bit of honey. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Just a little bit. 3 was that 3 teaspoons or 3 tablespoons?
Tablespoons, 2.
3 tablespoons of honey. Jesus
Girl, you
Christ,
ain't
just
tasting
get
anything
it.
but honey.
Yeah, I know you're trying to cover that up. You're trying to convince me. That's a lot of honey. Well, I guess for 2 cups. I don't know.
This one has audio.
All right.
Of course I don't watch Netflix because everything from Hollywood has an agenda. I'd rather watch my chickens live.
That sounds boring as shit. I'm not doing that. What? She says, I'm a conspiracy theorist. Of course I don't watch Netflix. Okay, let's hear her out. Because I don't watch Netflix either. But I doubt it's for the same reason.
TV programs, movies, books, music, and other forms of art and media are used to subtly herd society.
Why does she have the quotes around programs? They are TV programs. There's nothing.
Just put them all in quotes if that's what you think.
I know, right?
Do you want to be part of the herd or do you want to break it? Now we got COVID talk again. We're going back to sheep. I went into the bookstore recently and was shocked, but not surprised at the books that are being showcased at the front of the store. Don't come to my house, woman. The youth section was even more diabolical.
No, I guarantee you.
The same thing happens when you see an ad for a new all caps TV program that is rolling out. Consuming media like this is similar to consuming processed food. It affects your mind and body. Okay, what? You lost me.
You're taking notes from me. You're stealing my flow. I'm reading the comments.
Oh.
That's my style.
The random wise TV program and all
TV programs.
I don't get it. You may not realize it until you break free of it. I didn't. I used to love watching Netflix, listen to Taylor Swift on repeat. Go watch our Taylor Swift video because this is perfect example. And consumed the news like I was famished. I don't know about you, but I've never consumed news with like vigor.
No.
Most of the time,
And most of the news that I learn, it is against my own will because I can't not. I'm just
And I
like,
have to
oh
pull
my
back from it
God, I
because
don't
it's bad
want
for
to
me.
know this.
Yep. I used to wonder why I never felt good, why I felt depressed and upset. My emotions were swayed like a boat bobbing in the rough waves the ocean.
Okay,
Oh, boy.
Hannah.
Okay, we're trying to be Ballerina Farm for a second. But she can't even include words in the sentence. Then I began to question, who are these people? What are their agendas? What purpose do they play in my life? What does it benefit me to know what is going on in the world 24/7? I generally, to some extent, agree with that. Wait, what is actually going on in Hollywood in the world? What? Oh, here we go. It's Hollywood.
Then
You start to see the truth. Then you realize you can never support that again. Then you start to break free, all caps. A mixed realization of this and empty grocery store shelves led me to start homesteading. Here we go. Now we're back to her
empty
selling
grocery store shelves.
That's her whole thing. Learning skills to become self-sufficient brings freedom and joy. Learning how to cook from scratch and lessen my dependence on the store. That's not a sentence. Learning how to preserve food. Not a sentence. Learning how to grow a garden. Learning how to support and source local. All these have been life-changing. I don't care how you choose to spend your time or what you decide to watch. I would disagree with that. I really don't. You're not convincing me. I only care to share my experience and how freeing it has been and hopefully inspire that one person who is seeking for truth and freedom like I was many years ago. You're looking for someone who's uneducated and has fear around these issues so that you can peddle your shit and they'll buy it.
Or gain an audience of people who want to
has
do
stuff
that.
to sell on her website.
Yeah.
She sells.
Oh,
like,
she does?
Yeah, she sells like PDFs and shit. She's like Bort, and so she's selling stuff. So don't be fooled. This is all to push it's a selling point for things.
I wonder what her husband does to be able to afford doing all this.
It's a great question.
Because you cannot work a job and do all of this at the same time. Go ahead and just do me a favor. Go ahead and price out what it would cost to have anything to, to collect enough eggs from chickens to be able to be
I don't
self-sustaining.
know. If they're like Ballerina Farm,
maybe they got that.
Maybe they got big money behind.
What
the
are the
scenes.
odds that her husband works for a military contracting company?
Could be.
And then she's out here like conspiracy central,
I wouldn't doubt it.
or some other family member.
Imagine living in 2024 and imagine living in 2024.
I can't imagine that, but here I am.
Thinking that these are just airplane. Yeah, me neither.
Girl, what?
I'm gonna tell you right the now. I got a little guy right here. He's asleep right now. This is what we do when we're asleep. Little guy right here. He could tell you exactly why those contrails are forming that way. We play our fair share of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I have learned quite a few things about airplanes.
But it's a conspiracy. Don't
Seriously.
you know?
And this was one of the things I saw just, I think, either yesterday or today about people talking. It was a video of a plane dropping flame retardant slurry to control a forest fire, and people are like, they're just in our faces with the chemtrails. Like, are you fucking okay?
No.
This is to stop a fire. They're managing a wildfire that is burning.
There's not going to be nature if you don't let them do that.
Would probably destroy your stupid ass farmstead if they didn't do it. People, this is the problem, is like you create this situation where, and this is why I feel like there's a fundy aspect to this. When I think about my experience as a Mormon, there were a very few situations where, like within the theology, there were not many questions, right? A lot of things was just spoon-fed to you. Here are the answers. Here's what it is. And if you didn't know, then it was like, oh, further light will be bestowed upon us someday or whatever. That question will be answered. But if you don't have the answer to it right now, it's not a necessary answer, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of set up in these kinds of groups an expectation that there is an explanation for something and that it will just be kind of given to you. So then when something comes along and you don't understand it and there is just any old explanation, that will do.
Yep.
So you don't have to know anything about how a jet turbine is condensing that air down and causing water to condense and form really long stringy clouds. Someone can just come in and tell you, yeah, that's the government spraying chemicals to control your mind.
Yeah.
And
be
that will
like,
do.
Yeah.
There's no question about it.
Well,
And
that's what
that's
it
the
is.
first thing you learned. And if you go on there and you want to learn about chemtrails, all you have to do is put in your bias to Google and it will give you the information that you're looking for based on your bias.
I just encourage you to go talk to like a pilot.
Seriously.
See what they have to say about it. Like the person who's flying the damn
No,
thing.
they're in cahoots. Three-letter
have to
agency,
be.
FAA, Jordan.
I
They're in
guess.
cahoots. So yeah, these social media posts are like, yeah, if you don't already know,
You're
then
dumb.
sorry, and then they'll give you no other explanation.
It's giving like
you
I'm better than you.
you don't have to do any of the work. You can just say,
mean you
yeah,
don't
those are
know?
chemtrails, and oh, you don't know? Do your research.
Girl,
Come on,
you're dumb.
that's the kind of shit that
Yeah.
that drives me nuts.
Again, we had to go back to Taylor Swift. Cut the audio off this. 'cause I'm sure
I'll
we're gonna
cut the
get claimed for
audio.
this. What if I told you, weird lady, that you could do all of these things while listening to Taylor Swift? You could do all these things while not listening to Taylor Swift. And what if I told you, listen, I'm going to hold your hand while I say this to you because I really need you.
I will be proxy for her,
I
like
really
the
need
Mormons.
you to understand. No one cares. You don't like Taylor Swift? Congratulations. What do you
Oh
want?
my
A
God.
gold star? No one cares. Like, you're not special. I lovingly tell you that because I understand for you that will probably be hard to hear. But this goes out for everybody who's like has to like comment on posts where people are like, I like Taylor Swift, and like, Taylor Swift sucks. It's like, relax.
No one cares.
You're okay. I don't know why your nervous system is so dysregulated by this. You might need to talk to somebody about that. But like, are you good? You're not special. Like, I don't go on the internet blasting every artist that I don't like. Why do you think you're
do.
special? Like, I don't understand
but it's usually
this.
falling in reverse.
I don't
Some shit like that.
understand. So anyway, she says that she goes on to talk about like our freedoms have been slyly stolen. And I know anything coming from the mouth of Hollywood will do me no good. So Hollywood has a mouth now. It's like its own entity.
Our freedoms have been slyly stolen.
At this point,
The government wants you to listen to Fortnite featuring Post Malone.
grandma shaking for it. Yeah, like just. And then she goes back to great grandparents. What did our great grandparents do? Well, they didn't have Taylor Swift.
Stare at the fucking wall.
You know what they did have? They had the Satanic Panic, and they freaked out about the same fucking shit in music. Like, you're not special. This is not some like
That
grand
wasn't even
time.
that wasn't even great grandparents. That was her parents. She's like in her 30s.
Yeah, she's not old.
That was her parents.
Girl, sit down.
Her great grandparents were watching the chickens lay eggs.
And if they had another alternative, they
Seriously.
probably wouldn't have been. And they'd probably slap you upside the head. My grandma would do that. Would slap me upside the head if I said some stupid shit like that. So I say this to you lovingly, but moral of the story, dear one, is no one cares.
No one cares.
No one cares.
I also, this was one of the ones that I had seen, and the same day that I saw this, I had also seen a video from, I don't know what I think her TikTok name is Morticia with a little rose, but she's the goth microbiologist, and she was talking about this very way to keep eggs and how fucking dangerous it is.
Unsurprising.
Like, it is a matter of time for this woman to get sick.
Anyway, just throwing out some information real quick. When water glassing became popular, it was not yet known that Salmonella bacteria, one, can permeate and invade that cuticle or the bloom. It was also not known that the bacteria can infect or contaminate an egg from the point it is formed inside of the hen. Of the solutions that are commonly used to water glass eggs, both of them are toxic. Both of them can contaminate the eggs if they have been left too long in them, meaning you can poison yourself. But in addition to that, both of them can foster botulism due to their high pH. They are highly alkaline. Botulism thrives in these conditions, while also the calcium solution that is used to make lime water often contains Clostridium botulinum spores within it. You should be cautious and careful whenever you are coming down to a risk of salmonella or botulism. Again, 200-year-old methodology. Why have we not abandoned it?
Please just don't do these things to yourself.
Yeah.
And she's made multiple posts about it.
Bro, she was
You don't care
trying
about
to
Taylor
capitalize
Swift's new album.
so big on this
But you do
shit.
care about returning We sacrificed our freedoms and health for convenience. Now the world is collapsing around us with wars on the horizon. With every skill you learn, you gain back your freedom. Now is the time to learn. Like, again, what is this fixation with your grandparents? Like, I used to be, this is what she says. Do you care? No. I'm trying to get you to understand that all of the right uses this so much so that the market is like infatuated with Taylor Swift hate. So like if you want to hop on like the red train, you got to come up with a different talking point because this one has been beaten to death.
Well, this one was like April 22nd. What time did April 19th or something was when the album came out. So she was just trying to capitalize.
She was trying to get on the hype train. But she used to be a huge Taylor Swift fan. Huge. And again, then she goes, our grandparents had it right. Imagine all the knowledge they had that was passed down for thousands of years, necessary for survival, and lost once convenience crept in and grocery stores started popping up on every corner. So we lost brain cells when the grocery store started popping up. Apparently.
Well, that's when the FDA invented breakfast.
I guess, because, oh heavens, like, oh my God.
Oh, great.
Raw milk.
This one's gonna need its own thing.
I'm a conspiracy theorist. Of course I drink raw milk. Did you know that the biggest salmonella outbreak was actually from pasteurized milk, not raw milk?
Wrong.
If you watched our video, you know that that's not true.
Wrong. Yeah, didn't he? Microbiology Wes
Debunked this.
Shout out. Yeah, he said that it was because they were transporting unpasteurized milk and did not clean it thoroughly enough. And then they put pasteurized product in there that was to go out to the masses. And it was infected and people got sick. So wrong. Raw milk is it. I'm telling you, we were talking about this with Ballerina Farm. Raw milk, sourdough bread, chickens. It's all just like this.
It's all talking points now.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to mute this. Things I do that people are crazy. Eat red meat every day against my doctor's advice.
That
you go to a doctor? Because
are we gonna puritanize her?
Prescription police or whatever you called them. So like what? So you don't go to the doctor then? But
the primary.
No. She goes so she can deliberately go against whatever they tell her to do.
All right. If she's gonna maintain pure, she's definitely just lying about going to the doctor. Hang out with animals instead of watch Netflix.
I mean, cute. Okay.
Save and eat my bacon grease to unclog my arteries. I know a better use for bacon grease if you're renting. Just kidding.
Girl, what?
That is not unclogging your arteries.
No.
I guarantee it.
No.
Save your bacon grease, though. It is useful.
Canned food so I can eat when society collapses. Like, again, we've said this before. I don't have anything against canning or being prepared for like a natural disaster or whatever. But it's when people push it to like attach it to the Bible and calamity and signs of wars and rumors of wars. Like she's mentioned before, there's religious undertones to the majority of the things that she says.
Yeah.
And she's just not as overt about it on Instagram. And so it's like, I don't care about that. But then you have to make it into like, Jesus is coming, so I got a can. And that's where you lose me.
Yeah. I like how they're all about homesteading, but they all have fucking lawns. Like, where are the native plants to your area? You're growing a lawn so that you can harvest dandelions every once in a while. Okay. Follow to homestead with me.
And then she goes on in the caption to say, oh, she elaborates on the doctor thing. Are you crazy too? I'm not answering that. Last time I went to the doctor, he told me he was disappointed I wasn't vegetarian anymore and that I would get heart disease. I'm disappointed at how uneducated most doctors actually are.
There's nothing that has not ever happened more ever in the history of ever. That did not happen.
I don't have Netflix. I don't like TV. I don't care if you do. Most modern shows are filled with agendas and will manipulate your emotions and thoughts. I like to watch the same things if I do sit down to watch something. Lord of the Rings, Count of Monte Cristo, X-Files, haha. But now I understand the crazy old ladies who would say the TV is evil. I'm that crazy old lady now. See, this directly affirms exactly what I said probably like 20 minutes ago, which is everything goes to extremes. It's not just Too much TV is probably not great for your brain, so maybe don't watch it all day every day. It's no TV, none of it. It's all bad. I don't allow it in my house.
Except for Lord of the Rings.
Except for X-Files. You're told bacon grease will clog your arteries, because it will, but she says it won't. So take it from her, everyone. The vegetable and seed oils, which everybody's obsessed with right now, and processed foods and sugars will, though. Okay. Building a food storage is one of the best things you can do. Who remembers the empty grocery shelves just a few years ago? I do. Drinking game. Drink every time she says empty grocery shelves. Don't do that. You'll die. You've been brainwashed to believe dandelions are weeds. No, I haven't. As an ex-Mormon, I've been brainwashed about a lot of things, but
Not
dandelions are not one of them. I can say that with confidence. You ever wonder why the bee population is being decimated? It's exactly what
There's no way it's the dandelions.
No, it's not.
I'm sorry, lady.
Could
it's
it be part of
lawn.
it? Could it be part of it? Yes, but it's like this, like the grain of truth, where people are validly concerned about bee populations, but then we take it and twist it into something to fit her narrative.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that dandelions aren't medicinal. I'm sure they are.
I'm sure they are. Great.
But I am sure that there are better options out there. If people were using dandelions as a medicine, it was probably the thing that was available.
Right.
But I am certain that there are other, even natural remedies that are probably better.
You would think.
But this is something that she can latch onto. Also, processed foods. The fuck is this? A Costco brick of their version of
Butter.
Kerrygold butter? Is that not processed?
She eats butter. It's so quirky.
How do they get the butter? They have to process the milk.
There's also another lady on
Let's get
Instagram who does that. So I don't know if that was even an original idea.
Right. But if you're going to eat butter, that is a good choice. Not going to lie.
I'm a conspiracy theorist. Of course I think the school system is broken. They want a nation full of workers, not free thinkers.
Is that what this is? Free thinking?
I'm going to agree with her on this, but not for the reason
The system's busted, but not for that reason.
Seriously.
Okay, next.
I'm a conspiracy theorist. Of course I eat chunks of butter because fat is good for you.
There are other ways to get fat in your diet than eating a chunk of butter. You are literally just doing this to be quirky. Look at me, I eat chunks of butter, everybody.
Weird-ass people out there.
You don't actually do this in real life. You do this to give views on Instagram.
I'm a conspiracy theorist. Of course I don't wear sunscreen because the sun isn't dangerous. Your diet and sunscreen are.
You are literally, the sun is your number one enemy. I can see, you have a complexion like
Pale
me.
girl, join the club.
Just Jordan's sunburn the other day when we went hiking is so bad. Just so bad.
I did my best.
And her grandmother is rolling in her fucking grave when anybody's like, oh, sunscreen is more poisonous than the sun. Because
my grandma used to lay out in the sun without sunscreen all the time, and she would even go out there. Common thing to do at the time was baby oil, you oil yourself up and then you go sit out in the sun.
Let's magnify the UV rays.
Literally, and I shit you not, she has had skin cancer so many times before she died. It was absolutely crazy, and she had to get shit removed all of the time, and I've even had to get stuff removed. But it's my diet.
Yeah. And what was the thing that did her in?
And I'm probably
cancer,
literally brain cancer, which is not caused by who knows what. But this is I wear sunscreen every day on my face because wrinkles. And so apparently I'm going to get cancer and die because of sunscreen and not because of the sun. Girl, the sun is just not your friend. What is a sunburn? That's inflammation, is it not? A good kind of inflammation?
You would think.
Does she feel closer to God when she gets sunburned?
I don't wear blush. I burn the shit out of my cheeks. Yeah.
The more you know.
But if she's not wearing sunscreen and she's this pale still, I don't think she's outside that often.
Probably not.
Sorry.
I'm
fake.
Theorist. Of course I think feminism is a scam. It was used to get the woman out of the home, into the workplace, and to destroy the family unit.
Oh, there it is.
And they all regurgitate the same.
The slight mask off. here's the kind of shit that I'm talking about.
It's like almost you wouldn't have had a choice in any of these things, and making a social media account, having your own fucking bank account, and any of those things if feminism wasn't an option. Like, I'm so tired of this old regurgitated feminist talking point. Like, it's they're the right talking points at this point are just so exhausted.
Seriously.
Like, they have to just absolutely drive themselves insane with saying the same shit over and over again. Like, it literally means anything. Like,
Seriously.
if I asked her to give me something else, she probably wouldn't be able to.
Did these internet anti-feminists realize that if we turn the clock back 50, 60 years, there's not a snowball's chance in hell that they would be allowed on social media?
That's what I'm saying.
Or do any of that shit. Like,
girl, this is
they didn't have the internet.
Because last time I checked, you're selling stuff on your social media that you created. All of that stuff is work. And you wouldn't be allowed to do that if it weren't for feminism. So, and you also wouldn't be here like running your yapper either if it weren't for feminism, because men don't give a shit what you say. So sit down. We can learn all of this from a man. Get back in the house. Nobody cares. So it's like they talk about this feminism shit like they don't benefit from it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the same thing with labor unions. Like, you think working 9 to 5 is bad? Did we all miss American history? Did we not hear about the labor movements? And I mean, it is measurably better, but it could be even better than it is now. Anyway.
It was about our rights. If you're a conspiracy theorist like us, make sure to follow along.
How dare you assume that goat is a conspiracy
She's sharing
theorist?
a brain cell with the goat.
Obviously.
Sorry, I had to say it. 5 ways. Oh, dear God. I already know this one.
You're gonna have to mute it.
She's just throwing a lot at me real fucking quick here.
So I included this because she's not even denying the trad wife allegations. Like I said, these women are just becoming okay with this, where, you know, for the last few years in social media, it's been kind of a shameful thing to be a trad wife, and you kind of had to like disguise it under other content like Miss Midwest has done for years. But now they're just outright about it. So she said, a trad wife is a woman who believes in and practices traditional roles in the home, but also believes that she's not sacrificing freedoms and rights to do so. I'm not even going to get into that definition because we don't have the time. This may seem counterintuitive, as we have been brought up in a system that trains children through the schools to be workers and to obey authority in a workplace setting. What does that have to do with being a trad wife? I don't know. This is what got me. I still remember being in school having to make a poster of what I wanted to do when I was older. I was taught school was the priority, getting a good education, and having a good job. I made a poster proudly toting anesthesiologist. I'm surprised you can spell anesthesiologist. And began pursuing a career.
Jordan, she's typing this on a modern phone. Of course she can. She can get it approximately there. She can hit the autocorrect.
You didn't hear what I said. No, I didn't say that. And began pursuing a career in the medical field. Sure, I'm happy I had the right to pursue these things, but now we're seeing our society fall in front of our eyes, and it isn't just due to one thing. It's a conglomerate, another big word, of system agendas. One of those agendas being to get women and mothers out of the home. What?
Huh?
I'm just so tired. I'm just so tired of all this shit. Like, I'm so tired. I just look at this and my brain just like...
Right.
The lights are off. Nobody is home.
That's what I'm doing right now.
I just can't with this. It's like the Brittany Dawn version of like, I used to have sex and now I don't, so I'm a good Christian influence. It's like the same thing.
No,
I used to be a feminist.
This huge thing. It like, I used to be a Taylor Swift fan. Mm-hmm. I used to be gay, and then I was saved by Jesus. Mm-hmm. I used to be a Satanist, and then I found Jesus.
To me.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's like these totally arbitrary things that don't matter.
And she can prove to people, you can do what I do.
Oh, look at me.
Like I once was where you were.
Yeah. The more that I see kind of like this trad wife content, I don't know. Somebody in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm open to a dialogue on this one. But I feel like they're trying to co-opt like the cottagecore aesthetic, which at least the way that I've perceived cottagecore is very queer coded.
A lot of it,
it's like they were seeing this shit on Tumblr and they're like, no, they can't take that away from us. So they're like diving into like,
trad women only.
We're just going to create a whole bunch of content so we can take that back. And
I can see that.
I don't know. That's kind of how I feel. Just after the shit
An
that I've
interesting
seen.
thought.
Food is a scam.
Food is a scam. Everything's
Don't
a
want to get
scam.
scammed? Don't eat.
Everything's a scam. So when you used to be vegan, again, here we go. I used to be like you. I used to be vegan. But now you eat chunks of butter, drink raw milk, and only eat pasture-raised eggs because you realize the food system is a scam and wants to keep us sick, unhealthy, and disconnected from nutrient-dense food.
Huh?
Like, we're getting it repetitive at this point because she just regurgitates the same talking point over and over again and the same idea of like, that used to be me and now I'm better and you can be better too.
I'm sorry, lady. At some point, you're going to get fucking tired of the same old
I'm tired of it.
bread, butter, eggs, and whatever you're supposedly canning that you're growing on your
What
your
if I told
property.
you that you could put butter in something instead of just eating it like a fucking brick?
Yo! Is that why they put butter on bread? So you don't just have to eat the butter? That's crazy.
Honestly. Like, girl, nobody's eating it like that.
Sick people equal money. See, it's like kind of there. It's like, yes, the pharmaceutical companies are benefiting off of people being sick. But bitch, I want to have Vyvanse. I so wish I had Vyvanse.
There are
because
people who need
Vyvanse
meds.
helps me do a full load of laundry in one go, and I don't have to rewash it 3 times. It is a genuine help to me.
If you do not understand the privilege of medication, then you are just that.
It
you
is
are
not,
privileged.
It is not so black and white. I understand that the pharmaceutical company is making hand and fist. In order for me to get Vyvanse, I'm essentially buying, the insurance won't cover it. So I'm essentially buying it out of pocket, which is the fucking worst. And it's not
Cheap.
But in order to help me keep this damn house together and to not feel anxious about my surroundings, it's a major help. Yeah, there are bad things about the pharmaceutical industry. There are huge reforms that could be made.
But you didn't go down a conspiracy path because of that.
Yeah, I'm not out here being like, oh, all they're doing is making money. They're making us sick. And I'm sure that she has issues with me saying that I have ADHD, but
It's fine, lady.
we'll probably get there.
Relax.
Would you want your child to get cancer? Did I just Beetlejuice this?
Yes.
Would you want your child to suffer from ADHD? No. Then you shouldn't be feeding them
See, I take issue with this too. Not only
Yeah.
because this is so much more complex than what you feed your children, but when I have moms, especially, who come in my office with such intense shame that it is impacting their mental health, causing depression, causing anxiety because of shame like this that gets perpetuated, that if they feed their kids McDonald's every once in a while, that's why they have ADHD and it's their fault and their kid's life is going to be horrible because, there's just all this ableist rhetoric that's surrounding it. Like, this is just, this blew my mind. This blew my mind because you're out here really saying, you want your kid to get cancer? You're the worst kind of person. You are hands down the worst kind of person. If you use that rhetoric to try to swindle people into doing what you want them to do by saying your kids are going to get cancer, you are a horrible person, objectively.
Kick rocks is the version I'm going to say. Also, fuck you for using a Hosier song. I'm going to have to cut that out, but from the bottom of my heart,
it.
fuck you for using a Hosier song. I don't think feeding disease-inducing food or drinks to our children, blah, blah, blah. It's that simple.
It's that simple, but it's not.
It's
because
really not.
ADHD literally has genetic components, as does other things.
But
like
germs
autism.
don't exist, so genetics must not exist either.
You're not a neuroscientist. You're not a doctor. You don't understand how these things occur. You don't understand why these occur. You've read some shit on the internet that makes people think that they have control over these horrible things, like these perceived horrible things happening to their children. They have some control in it. If I have some control over this narrative, it makes me feel better, because if I can feed my kids not processed food, then I am in control of whether or not they get ADHD. But I'm here to tell you that that is a lie. They're trying to sell you a lie. These things are not controlled. As somebody who has health OCD, who worries about things like my kid getting cancer, things of that nature, it is a lie to think that we have more than a decent role, but to say that that is like correlation is causation, to say that that is exactly why, like, bonkers. You are trying to buy, and I understand, because it soothes our anxiety to think that we have control over these things. We're doing something to prevent these things from happening. But the reality is that we don't. Sometimes cancer just happens. Like, my dad is the healthiest guy on the planet, runs about 20 miles a day, doesn't eat red meat, eats nothing that is not healthy, doesn't eat processed foods, doesn't drink soda, like the healthiest fucking human being on the planet, to the point that it's
irksome, honestly.
It's irksome, almost,
if we're being
how
honest.
healthy this guy is. And he just got cancer. And so it's like, this is not something that we can control. To some degree, we have a role in it. Like, there's research around, like, food and exercise and diet and things, and I understand that. But to say that, like, if you feed your kids McDonald's, you're giving them cancer, like, come on.
Wild. And it's like this whole recency bias kind of thing. Like, I see her right here. You can take 5 minutes of your day and pull up multiple research papers spanning back to the 1970s that have linked food dyes to the big C.
Again, not using the word.
That's recency bias. It's not like people in the 1970s just all of a sudden started getting cancer.
No.
And it's not like people started dying of cancer once we knew it. People were dying. People have always died. All throughout history, people have always died. And then we were like, oh, we're seeing a pattern in why these people are dying in this way and in their symptoms and things like that. And now we can ascribe to their symptoms a name, and we can track all these similarities. Oh, there's a whole bunch of different kinds of cancer. They're getting it in different places, but the same things are happening. And like, it's just so ridiculous. When you think about these kinds of things for more than like 2 seconds, it's crazy. Or all the people who are like, oh, back in my day, we didn't have any kids. There were just a couple kids with autism, and we just put them in an insane asylum because I hate people who have any sort of disability or anything like that. And now you see them, everybody's got it now. Well, we can better identify things. And now that we have a spectrum of neurodiversity, there's an easier way to ascribe certain characteristics to things. People are complex, and we've figured out a way to kind of describe what's going on in people's minds, because not everybody's experiencing the same thing.
And not to mention the privilege. Like,
crazy.
there is privilege in, like, the reasoning why people feed their children the foods that they do. Like, generally speaking, having a toddler who loves fruit, it is expensive as hell, and he goes through it in like 5 minutes. So I can feed him healthy food. The dude will eat a tray of
raspberries in one sitting.
But it is going to cost me a damn arm and a leg, and I want him to eat those things, and we make sacrifices in other areas so he can eat healthier. But you have to keep in mind that not everybody just has a bunch of fucking money laying around to buy their kids top of the line stuff, organic, no dye, like all that shit is expensive. And so is there a larger conversation that needs to be had around how these things are priced and accessibility and poverty? Yes.
Absolutely.
But you are not holding any nuance for any of that and just saying that people who do that to their children are causing their kids cancer and are bad parents, and it's actual insanity and cope. And like, all I see from you is just extreme. There is no healthy moderation for you. And I'm telling you that that's an unhealthy kind of mentality to have if you're always in the extreme end of things, no matter what the thing is. Because we've identified urine extremes in like 20 different places in this video. So like, have some in between, hold some nuance, have some critical thought, because this is much, much bigger than just your Instagram caption. And you have just been ableist and ridiculous and offensive and shameful to a bunch of people who did not deserve to have that from you. So like, stop. Shut up. The yapping. Like, let it go.
You put it very, very well. No
that
notes.
women
I
don't
held
belong
back.
in the kitchen because it's a waste of time, demeaning, because cooking is too hard and takes too much time, and that quality food is best purchased in a package. This has caused us to become fully disconnected from our food source. We don't work with our hands, we don't know where our food is from or how it was produced, and nutrient density has no meaning. When we eat their
The fucking freeze
She has the
dryer.
expensive freeze dryer.
Holy shit. This is ballerina farms level of just disconnected from society. Like,
She's got the pioneer dress on too.
yeah,
convenience foods, they're food that
drinking her nasty. There was
Drinking her
there
cow
was a
booty milk.
decent amount of pushback on the raw milk thing. I am here to categorically say drinking raw milk is fucking gross, and I don't want to hear. Oh, but no, I don't want to hear it. It's gross. The only argument I will allow is in cheeses. That's it. I'm not talking about drinking raw milk. That's gross.
fill their pockets with money. Today, society is sicker than ever, disease is rampant, but does anyone wonder why? We've become so disconnected from our food that we have forgotten.
There's no shot that we are more sick now than we were. The only thing that you could possibly say is maybe obesity and maybe heart disease.
Well, and a lot of these cancers have always existed, but we've just never been able to diagnose them as
Exactly.
such. Like when people in the olden days would die, like cause of death for some of these people would be like vomiting. They didn't die from vomiting. They died from something that was causing that. They died from
Yeah.
things like stomach cancer, but we didn't have the
They were like,
technology
I don't
and the
know, he
resources
puked
to
and
label
then
it
he
that.
just keeled over and that
Right.
was it.
And he died from vomiting. Like that's
Well.
not like that's what we're coming from. Like more information does not mean scary bad.
Yeah.
Medicine, and thy medicine is thy food. We've been taught that with
Is that a Bible verse?
we've been taught that
think
with
Food is thy
so.
medicine. That's using that kind of language and not quoting the Bible is always just
Go to
so
the next one
weird
because
to
I'm
me.
sick of her freaking food
The
points.
food shit. Oh, another
Conspiracy theorist. Here are some things that I will not be teaching my children.
yapping part
That
2.
this is normal.
You're right. It's not normal.
We're not going to be able to.
We weren't born with fucking jet turbines.
We're not going to be able to play this because she has Mosher playing in the background.
I'm gonna try. I'll try my best. I might just have to.
That butter is bad for you.
bad for you.
I'll just talk over her just in case.
That the sun is dangerous.
That the sun is dangerous and causes
cancer.
cancer.
That evolution is real.
Is
It's
real.
That
theory,
evolution
though.
is real.
If you're a
Evolution is real.
conspiracy theorist like us, make sure to follow
No.
along.
She's sharing the brain cells with the chickens now.
She lost
it.
a lot of people at the evolution thing, evidently, in the comments. People were like, what are you talking about? Evolution is a fun theory. Do you think the earth is flat too? Yes, I have news for you. She does. So we're so deep in conspiracy theory now that evolution isn't real and she's a flat earther. Go to the next one.
Next, more
But
yapping.
conspiracy theorist. Here are some things that I will not be teaching my children. Anything on the US presidents or world leaders. They will be discussed during a lesson on Freemasonry.
More the fucking. The panic surrounding masonry is just so funny to me. It's just like a bunch of dudes in a. Sorry, pardon my language to all any Freemasons that may be watching. It's just a bunch of dudes doing some silly guy stuff. Honestly, it's really
Some
not that deep.
handshakes.
I saw a video that I showed Jordan recently of this lady who was Mormon and working in, of all things, our favorite thing, child trafficking,
Allegedly.
whatever, kind of like OUR or whatever. And she was like, oh, yeah, that was my gateway out of Mormonism, because then I learned about the Freemasons and I saw all the stuff that the Freemasons were doing. And I'm like, if you saw that and thought it was sinister, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
It's just a bunch of dudes
not-
doing handshakes. Like, if there's nothing sinister about it. Like,
Yeah, my thought was I saw that that Joseph had stolen the temple shit from the Freemasons. I was like,
That's a problem.
holy shit. They just made it up based off of what other people were doing. But if that was the reaction you had, you probably are diving into something else.
Yeah.
You went from Mormonism right into something else.
Dinosaurs. It's a nice fairy tale, though.
That we are on a float.
There are actual dinosaurs that are walking on the earth with us today. My child will tell you, crocodiles knew the dinosaurs.
They were friends.
A fact. So,
Spinning thousands of miles per hour.
oh, yep, there's the flat earth thing.
That this means gravity exists. We'll have a lesson on density instead. If you
Girl,
I told you it was bad.
how do you calculate density? You have to.
This is
my
not
God.
satire. She actually believes these things and she thinks she's cute and quirky for thinking these things, when in reality, people just look at you like you're stupid. And I say that lovingly because you're not going
Seriously.
to get anybody to look at this seriously, because you just look at the comments and it's like there's not a damn fucking person other than maybe her followers who are looking at this and going, huh, this really makes me think about that. Like, no. Like, this is rage bait at this point.
Right. Oh, more.
I'm a conspiracy theorist. Of course I grow my own food because he who controls the food controls the people. I'm a
I guarantee you that if there were some sort of nuclear apocalypse or something and somehow this woman stayed alive, if you came seeking help or like some food, they would probably shoot you.
That is your opinion.
That's
That
my
is-
opinion, but
Of course I don't believe in global warming because the weather is controlled.
The weather's controlled by the government. The government controls the weather.
honestly,
Can they turn it down?
It's farmers controlling the weather. Have you ever seen like the hail cannons that they have? And at like orchards, they like shoot off this big I don't even think there's a projectile or anything, but they just shoot this big cannon into the sky to like disrupt the hail from forming, so it doesn't
Interesting.
fuck up the trees.
Well, it's controlled by the government, so that's the reason that they
the
do
farmers, the farmers, they're like, oh yeah, we're in cahoots with the government, so
That's
can't
why
trust
they
the
do
farmers
that.
either.
Of course I think Western medicine wants to keep everybody sick. More sick people equals more money. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Of course I eat meat and feed meat to my chickens because veganism is a scam.
I don't think anybody is.
Veganism is a scam.
Do chickens eat meat, or do they just eat whatever is out there in front of them?
I mean, I grew up with chickens and they've got fed whatever in my
I feel like
family.
you
I
should
don't know
feed
if that's
chickens
right or not.
grain.
I feel like they should be eating grain.
That
but
sounds like animal abuse, if you ask me.
I don't know.
If you're a conspiracy theorist like us, make sure to follow along.
I feel bad for the chickens.
I feel bad for them too.
Conspiracy theorist. Of course I build a food storage so when society collapses, my family and I can still eat.
I got news for you. If society collapses, you got bigger fucking fish to fry than whatever's in your basement, my friend.
I'm a conspiracy theorist. Of course I think 15-minute cities are bad. Of course I think 15-minute cities are a bad idea. Is it a city or a prison?
I don't understand where the like complete, just absolute panic surrounding 15-minute cities.
It's something to
Is
panic
supposed to
about. You just give them something and they will find a way.
Seriously.
They will find a way.
It's like, yeah, we want walkable areas so people don't have to depend on a car and
That's
are
bad.
decreasing emissions and don't need to consume as much just to get to the places that they need to go. And people are like,
15-minute cities are armadillo.
Of course.
calm down, people. Chell.
Conspiracy theorist. Of course I don't use fluoride toothpaste to clean my teeth. Have you ever heard of oil pulling? I'm a conspiracy theorist.
I've
I
seen
wouldn't wanna be your
people
dentist.
kind of shilling that on TikTok. Do we have any dentists who could?
I've heard some dentists say that it's fine as long as you do other stuff with it. But I don't know. I'm not a dentist.
That doesn't feel. I don't know. It would. I feel like that would give you a weird sensation on your mouth. I don't know. Or what you could do is just brush your teeth with nothing.
Like a normal person.
You don't need toothpaste. Like most of what you need with brushing your teeth is done by the brush, but whatever.
Of course I don't believe in aliens because space isn't real.
There's another one.
I'm sorry?
It's so. It comes back to that. I'm just gonna throw this weird thing out into the air, and I don't have to provide anything to back it up.
Whatever I want to believe.
Don't you think that at some point or another we would have figured it out by now?
It would
but
be dangerous to live like
nobody-
this, in my opinion, because
Yeah.
you could just think anything. You could think the sky is overrun by demons with dinosaurs as pets. Like, you could think whatever you want. And that's what she's going to say. She's going to say, Jordan, you could be a free thinker. You could live like that. And I would go fucking insane. I would go insane because that's not a healthy way to live. It's not a healthy way to live when you live in delusion land.
Yeah. Honestly, when you're living like this, you probably are like believing that the estranged brother of the Prince of Nigeria really is emailing you. And you're wondering why he hasn't gotten you the money yet.
Conspiracy theorist. Of course I think Wi-Fi is a part of...
These little things on her, these are cool. They don't run on electricity or anything. They just run on the heat. Of course they don't. It's cool, actually. I'm going to be real, but this is
Did you hear what she just said, though? Wi-Fi is a part of mind-reading technology?
God, I wish I could use the Wi-Fi to read the... Sometimes our kid is saying something, and I don't know what's coming out of his mouth. I wish I could use the Wi-Fi to read his mind.
Technology. If you're a conspiracy theorist like us, make sure to follow along.
Well, I won't, but thanks. I'm just
Could you figure out where she lived? I think she lives in Idaho.
I thought, that's what I thought too, but there was an article about her, and I don't know if this is true or not, but they said she lived in Washington.
I don't know Washington. So whenever I think of Washington, I think of like Cascadia and...
Yeah, I'm not familiar, but I could see it.
The coast.
I'm a conspiracy theorist. Of course, if the grid goes down, I have another way to heat my house. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Of course I don't drink tap water.
I don't think that makes you a conspiracy theorist. Having another way to heat your house if there's like an electricity issue.
Of course I don't drink tap water. Do you know what that does to your pineal gland?
I'm a conspiracy theorist. Of course I don't vote in the elections because I know they don't matter.
So if it makes you feel any better, at least she's not voting.
I'm a conspiracy...
That is usually what people say. Well, these people vote. Well, not her.
Apparently they don't.
Apparently.
Of course, moon landing. People still believe that.
This is where, like, I can see sometimes where you could be like, yeah, the moon landing was staged or whatever, but not because space is fake. Maybe you could make an argument that, yeah, they staged the moon landing because they wanted the leg up over the Soviet Union. Yeah, like, but not because space is fake.
Theorist. Of course I don't watch TV because everything, and I mean everything, has an agenda. If you...
And I don't necessarily...
your content.
And I don't necessarily disagree. She's like, the point that she's making is that everything has an agenda. Like, everything has a purpose. Yes, generally the purposes of TV shows are to provide entertainment. So, like, it's not the agenda that you have the problem with. It's the specific things that you're having the problem with. Because just everything having agenda is life. Like, everything having an agenda is existence. You, me, everyone.
It's giving, like, oh, I really hate that they put politics in Star Wars. Bitch, like, what the fuck did you think the wars were about?
Like, you have, like, you're just hiding what you really think, like, probably the homophobia or the transphobia behind the agenda thing. Like, it's the like casual way of like it's like the dog whistle for other people to be like, oh, she believes in like the agenda thing, which means that she probably doesn't like the gays. And if she does, then more power to her. But this is, like, generally speaking, when people pull the whole agenda thing, that's why. It's because I see the gays kissing on my TV in the Disney movie, and God forbid.
There's no doubt in my mind that she is about that life. No. Would you drink raw milk while pregnant, Jordan?
No. Absolutely not.
While breastfeeding? Why?
Just so you
Why
can
get the milk from somewhere else? You get it right there. Booby buddies. You have the cow's teat in your mouth and you got the baby's teat.
It's perfect.
There. Yeah.
Okay, that's where she lost me. Was a formula supplement or replacement?
Nope. I just don't understand where people, they're like looking at this calf, this beautiful calf feeding from its mother, and they're like,
I
that
want that.
shit is also made for me. What?
And my lactose intolerant ass, it is
know.
definitely not made for me.
Or your baby, for that fact. Like, I can understand, like, obviously there are a lot of things that we look at and we're like, that's made for us. And when
She
you really
drinks
think about it, it's
raw
like,
goat
what?
milk
Why?
Too, she says. Not just raw cow milk. She does the goats too.
Does she want a cookie to go with the raw
I know,
goat
I'm
milk? Jesus Christ.
While it's still warm, just like Hannah.
That's the worst thing. Drinking warm milk. That's the crime, the highest crime right there. This is just recycled.
Yep.
Conspiracy theorist. Of course I have an extensive food storage and a
Can you see how she just kind of recycles a lot of this shit?
Theorist. Of course I don't trust big pharma and I make my own medicine.
Don't
Was that
encourage that.
apples in honey?
I'm a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy and my saliva into an ancestry place.
Girl, I can't handle one of you. Two of you would be enough. Two of you would be too much for me.
Two of you would be the death
It
of
would.
us.
It would not be okay with these. And this might be controversial of me, but if the government wants your saliva from you, they'll come and fucking get it. So like, relax.
Right.
If the time comes, they will take it from you, whether you want to or
Of
not.
course I don't trust the government, so why would I trust NASA? The Earth is flat. I'm a conspiracy theorist.
She would rather...
My own animals and grow my own food, because who knows what you're getting at the store. If you're a conspiracy theorist like us, make sure to follow.
God, some of this is just recycled. Girl, Gordon Hinckley beat you to it like 30 years ago.
Yep. And she is, I wasn't able to confirm like what kind of religion. I assume she's Christian based on what I've seen her post online. Her Twitter is a whole other story. Worse than this, if you can imagine. And so I looked through some of that, and she does post religious things on Twitter. And so she is a fundy of some kind. Just not as
Mormon.
forthright about it on Instagram, which is an interesting tactic because usually they use that to sell their stuff. But who knows? There's still time for her. There's still time.
Is
This
that
I thought was
Providence?
interesting.
Is that Providence Pantry?
See what you'll notice when you watch it.
Okay.
New to prepping, or you prep and you want
How old is this?
This is one of her first videos.
Holy
back
shit,
in
June
2022.
2022.
where to get some bulk items. Let me show you where I get mine. So I get these big
Bags.
bags of beans, like cornmeal from As Your Standard. I found that they have a good price for organic produce and whatnot.
Is it not Azure? Is it pronounced Azure?
As your, she's saying it like it's two words. As your standard.
I always thought it was Azure.
I also have bulk wheat berries, so hard white wheat. And this is from Desert.
And this is why I included this video, because if you made it this far, what do you see?
Deseret Farms.
Deseret Farm. So even though she's not Mormon, she's aware enough of the Bishop's Storehouse.
Was she? Mm-hmm. Was she Mormon at some
I don't
point?
know, maybe.
The Bishop's Storehouse from at Church of Jesus Christ has great prices on long-term and short-term food storage items like wheat berries, sugar flour, beans, a variety of vegetables, and apples all come in number 10 cans. You can also get wheat berries in bags. I used to ship these out when I worked at the warehouse. Right at the height of COVID, it was ridiculous. They would take all the incoming shipment off the truck and they would just slap labels on them and put them on a different truck. They would not even change
Pallets.
hands.
Pallets on pallets on pallets.
Yep.
So I thought it was interesting. Everything always ends up connecting back to Mormonism, because even if you're not Mormon, but you're interested in prepping, like, you really can't avoid them because they are kind of pioneers, I feel like, in like food storage, like selling food storage in a lot of ways. So in summary, this was terrible and I hated it.
This was wild.
I hope I'm going to block her at this point because I don't want to see her stuff anymore. Like, I'm tired. I mean, it's not even going to impact it because it's just people reacting to her shit, unfortunately. So, like, even if I block her, it's probably not going to go away. But
I don't do stuff like that on Instagram because I love to wallow in the weird. It's so
filth.
funny. I try not to touch the poop, but.
So, all in all, this is brain rot. And I feel like I've lost a few brain cells by engaging with this content. So I truly, there's a lot of these things that infuriate me, and the rest of them just kind of leave me speechless. So that's, you know how I feel.
This went on longer than I thought. Mm-hmm. We did a lot of talking, but hopefully this was enjoyable for all of you out there. Even though it is tough, it is kind of fun to just kind of...
You gotta laugh so you don't
talk
cry,
about
right?
it and stuff. Yeah, you gotta laugh. But if you would like to see more of what we've got going on here, you can hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to see more baloney walking across the fucking desk, you could become a member. The members get to see the bloopers and all the shit that we cut out, and it's a lot of cats. So if you want to see our cats more often...
That's the way to go.
You can go there, check that out. You could also become a member. You can also join the Patreon. You get the same perks. Being a member on YouTube, you just get a little extra visual stuff. You get a little badge in the chat, the comments, and everything like that. You show off your support here on YouTube. You could also follow us on social media at Jordan M. McKay. On TikTok and Instagram.
I post on Instagram all the time, so go follow us there.
Always check out the stories. Always little more up-to-date announcements and things like that if you follow us there. So you can always stay in the loop. And you can follow us, or you can join us in our Discord. The link is down in the description down below. So check that out if you would like an awesome community of awesome, cool, super fun people. So I think that's it. We love you. Remember to eat your breakfast. It's not a conspiracy from the FDA, and we'll see you next time.